Who masters your mind? Right now, as you read these words, notice a thought simply appears, uninvited. This moment of recognition is the golden key to your freedom. It points to a master, a controller, an unseen background that governs your reality. But to truly understand it, we must first see the nature of the prison it creates. This prison has no walls of stone or bars of steel. It is made of something so subtle, so complete, that it remains completely invisible to the prisoner. And so we discover the first wall of this prison is the most immediate, the endless chatter of your own mind. For most of us, thinking is not something we choose to do. It happens to us. It is a constant stream of commentary, judgment, and memory. A voice in the head that is almost never silent. It tells the story of your life, worries about tomorrow, regrets yesterday, and has an opinion about nearly everything you experience. Take a moment to listen to it now. Notice this stream of uninvited thoughts. This mental noise is the soundtrack to the prisoner's life. Most people live their entire existence believing they are this voice, this thinker. They are so identified with the stream that they don't realize they are the silent riverbed through which it flows. This identification is the first lock on the door. Yet, here, we can use a key, a powerful tool of inner investigation. The voice is there, yes. The thoughts are appearing, yes. But who is the one that is aware of them? Can you find the one who hears the thought? When a thought appears, you know it is there. When it disappears, you know it is gone. Who is this silent, unchanging knowing? Don't try to answer with another thought. Simply look. Turn your attention away from the content of the mind, the thoughts, feelings, stories, and toward the space in which they appear. Toward the silent, aware emptiness that holds them all. In this simple act of looking, something shifts. You begin to realize you are not the noise, but the silence that is aware of the noise. This brings us to an ancient story of a learned scholar and a wise sage sitting together in a garden, the air warm and filled with the scent of jasmine. The scholar, representing the thinking mind, is brilliant. He can analyze and explain everything he sees. The sage, representing that silent awareness, begins a gentle inquiry. He gestures to a bed of vibrant flowers. Tell me, friend, against what background do you see the beauty of those flowers? The scholar smiles. Clearly, I see them against the background of the dark hedge behind them. Very good, the sage nods. And the hedge? Against what background does it appear? That's simple too. The hedge appears against the rolling hills in the distance. And the hills? The hills stand against the vast blue canvas of the sky. The sage allows a long silence to settle. Then he asks the question that dissolves the entire structure of the thinking mind. And against what background do you see the sky? The scholar falls silent. His brilliant mind searches but finds no answer. Any response he could give. Space, the heavens, would itself be another appearance, another image seen against what? He has reached the edge of the known world. The sage speaks gently into the silence. The ultimate background has no name and no form. It is the consciousness in which the sky, the hills, the hedge, and the flowers all appear. It is the space of knowing itself. You cannot see it for the same reason, and I cannot see itself. It is the seeing. To understand this more deeply, consider your experience each night. When you dream, you are completely absorbed in a world of people, places, conversations, fears, and desires. It all feels perfectly real. The person you are in the dream character, does not know that the entire world, including its own body and mind, is being created within a vast, dreaming consciousness. The dream character is a prisoner of the dream. It cannot step outside the dream to see the mind that is dreaming it. In the same way, we are characters in what we call the waking state. We believe we are separate individuals moving through an external world. But what if all of it, the world out there, and the thoughts in here, is appearing within the same field of consciousness? What if the very idea that consciousness is inside your head, looking out at an external world, is the fundamental misunderstanding? Consciousness doesn't live in the brain, peering out at reality. Consciousness is that in which both the brain and the apparent world appear. So where then is the freedom? The freedom is not in escaping this prison, but in recognizing what the prison actually is. It begins by noticing the gaps, the silent space between two thoughts, the stillness that exists beneath all the sounds around you, the simple awareness that is here before the next thought, feeling, or perception arises. This awareness is the substance of the invisible walls. When you become familiar with it, the prison transforms. It is no longer a limitation, but a boundless field of pure potential. We exist within this boundless, invisible field of consciousness, the silent, ever-present background of all experience. But this only deepens the mystery. If consciousness is the canvas, what creates the painting? To answer this, we must learn the secret language in which existence speaks to itself. And the first word in this secret language is flow. When we hear the word pattern, we usually think of something fixed, like the design on a carpet. But this misses the deeper truth. The patterns of existence are not things. They are movements, processes, flows of energy, taking temporary form. Consider a whirlpool in a river. It has a definite shape that you can point to, but what is it actually made of? Nothing but flowing water. There is no separate thing called a whirlpool, only the river whirling. The moment the water stops moving, the whirlpool vanishes. The same is true for a flame. A flame is not an object, but a process. Fuel transforming into light and heat. Now, apply this understanding to yourself. You are not a fixed thing, but a flowing process. Breathing, feeling, thinking, growing, perceiving. You are an unbroken movement of life expressing itself. Like the whirlpool, your form is nothing other than the entire flow of existence moving through this particular pattern you call yourself. The air you breathe, the food you eat, the thoughts you think, the love you feel, it all flows through you, creating the temporary pattern of you before flowing on to create other forms. To see this is to understand that you are not separate from life. You are one of life's infinite expressions. Here lies a profound secret. The more you try to grasp and hold onto the experience of being alive, the more it slips away. Like trying to capture running water in your hands, the very act of grasping creates the separation you're trying to overcome. But the moment you stop trying to possess life, you discover you never left it. The second word in this secret language reveals itself as the great filter. Our experience of this flowing existence passes through the instruments of our senses, but these instruments reveal only the tiniest fraction of what is actually here. Imagine the full spectrum of light as a vast ocean of energy, from waves longer than mountains to vibrations smaller than atoms. In the middle of this immense, mostly invisible ocean floats a razor-thin slice we call the rainbow. All the visual beauty you have ever seen exists in this minuscule portion of reality. The rest, the warmth you feel from the sun, the invisible signals carrying messages through the air, are forms of the same light, completely hidden from your eyes. Your hearing is equally limited. You perceive only a narrow band of sound, deaf to the deep rumblings that elephants use to communicate across vast distances, or the high-pitched calls that guide bats through the darkness. But our senses are only the first filter. The thinking mind applies a second, even denser filter. When you look at a tree, You are rarely seeing the living, breathing reality of that magnificent being. Instead, you see your mental label, tree. You see your memories, your past experiences, your judgments about trees. The label becomes a veil, preventing direct contact with a living mystery standing before you. To see without this second filter, to perceive with fresh, open awareness, is to step into presence itself. It is to meet reality directly, without the noise of mental commentary. Now we come to understand how all these flowing patterns weave together to create the world we experience. They weave together like instruments in a vast cosmic orchestra. Reality is not a solo performance. It is an infinite symphony. Each aspect of existence plays its part. The physical realm provides the rhythm section, the deep bass of matter and energy. The biological realm adds its melodies, the songs of growth, reproduction, and decay. But there are subtler instruments playing as well. The music of thought, the harmonies of memory, the emotional spectrum that plays. Everything from the lowest notes of fear to the highest, most beautiful notes of love and joy. Crucially, no instrument plays alone. They all exist in perfect relationship with each other. In music, a note needs the silence around it to be heard. You cannot know up without down, no light without darkness, no self without other. These are not opposites fighting each other. They are dance partners in the cosmic ballet, each one making the other possible. Every single thing connects to every other thing. Existence is not a collection of separate parts. It is one seamless, multidimensional whole, expressing itself through infinite variety. And here we discover something remarkable about consciousness itself. We usually think of consciousness as simple. You're either awake or asleep. But what if awareness itself exists across a vast spectrum of possibilities? At one end lies the deep, formless knowing of dreamless sleep. Then comes the image-filled world of dreams. Then we arrive at our familiar waking consciousness. Though, as we've seen, this is mostly a narrow band of awareness, heavily filtered by mental activity. But are there states beyond ordinary waking? The mystics and sages throughout history say yes. There are states of heightened presence, moments of creative flow where the separate self dissolves, states of profound peace and the ultimate recognition of pure awareness itself. The clear, formless knowing that is the source of all other states. We spend our lives in one small room of a vast mansion, unaware of the infinite chambers of consciousness waiting to be explored. This brings us to the great mystery. If existence is a grand symphony of flowing patterns, and consciousness is the infinite hall in which it plays, then who conducts this cosmic orchestra? The search for this conductor is the great quest that has driven seekers throughout all ages. We imagine this master to be a deity far away in the heavens, or a tiny controller sitting behind our eyes, pulling the levers of mind and body. The truth is far more intimate and simple than the mind can grasp. But first, we must see through the impostor. For most of our lives, a phantom has claimed the conductor's role. The small, anxious sense of me that believes it runs the show. This ego is a collection of memories, conditioning, fears, and desires that has woven together a story about itself. This false conductor believes the symphony is broken. It constantly judges the music, labeling each note as good or bad, right or wrong. It lives in endless resistance, frantically waving its baton, trying to force the orchestra to play only pleasant melodies. It demands that joy play louder, while fear falls silent. It worries about the next movement and regrets the last one. This struggle, this constant friction between what the false conductor wants and what the symphony naturally expresses, is the source of all human suffering. But here is the liberating secret. The orchestra has never been listening to it. The symphony of existence unfolds according to its own perfect laws, while the ego is simply a ghost, shouting commands into empty air. We are like dreamers who have forgotten we are dreaming. The dream character desperately tries to control the dream, not realizing it is the dream. The wave does not control the ocean. The wave is the ocean's movement. But the true creative process is far more elegant than the ego's battle. The ancient sages described it as the playing of a cosmic instrument, not mere poetry, but a precise description of how reality manifests moment by moment. The first selection happens through your very form. To be born as a human being is to receive an instrument tuned to specific frequencies of existence. Your eyes can pluck only certain strings of light from the infinite spectrum. Your ears respond only to particular vibrations of sound. The biology of your body is the first unconscious shaping of the instrument you are given to play. The second shaping comes through your conditioning, your culture, upbringing, language, and all the experiences that have touched your life. These create unconscious patterns in how your attention moves. If you have been shaped by fear, your awareness will naturally be drawn to threats and dangers. If you have been touched by love, your attention will be attracted to connection and beauty. For most of our lives, we simply play the melodies we were taught, believing we are composing them ourselves. The third level is where true freedom emerges, conscious attention. In any given moment, where you choose to place your focus is the string you are consciously sounding on the great instrument of existence. This is the essence of presence. When your attention gets lost in the false conductor's mental chatter, lost in worry about tomorrow, or regret about yesterday, you are unconsciously playing discordant notes of suffering. But when you consciously bring your attention into this moment, to the sensation of breathing, to the sounds around you, to the simple feeling of being alive, you take up the conductor's baton yourself. Right now, can you feel the subtle aliveness in your hands? This gentle energy is not a thought about your body. It is the direct experience of being. This felt sense is always available, always here, always now, as a doorway out of mental time and into presence. Think of consciousness like the screen in a theater. The screen remains completely untouched whether the movie shows fire or water, joy or tragedy. It is intimate with every image, yet never burned, never wet, never actually changed by what appears on it. Pure awareness is this screen, intimate with every experience, yet forever unmodified by what it displays. This brings us to the final, breathtaking revelation. We have been searching everywhere for the conductor, looking for the one who directs the attention, who makes the choices, who lives this life. But look for this conductor now. Look inside for the me who is seeing these words, who is hearing these sounds, who knows what you know. Can you find a little person inside your head? A central command center? A separate self pulling the strings? Search carefully, honestly. Look where the you is supposed to be. You will not find one. You will search, and where the conductor should be, you will discover only open, aware space, a silent, knowing emptiness. Here is the simple test. Can you stop existing? Not stop thinking or feeling, but stop being altogether? Try it. You will find it impossible. This being, this simple fact of existing, is not something you do. It is what you are. Rest here. In this emptiness, the truth becomes obvious. There is no conductor separate from the orchestra. The symphony plays itself. The seeing of these words is existence knowing itself through the frequency of sight. The hearing of sounds is existence experiencing itself through vibration. The awareness that holds it all is existence waking up to its own infinite nature. The ego was just one instrument in the vast orchestra, mistaking itself for the composer. But the true composer is the entire composition, playing itself into existence moment by moment, where one teaching points to the gaps between thoughts, another reveals what those gaps are made of. Pure knowing itself, where one shows us the flowing nature of reality, another asks, who is aware of the flow? Each path up the mountain offers a different view of the same peak. This is not philosophy or belief. It is the most immediate truth of what you are. You are not a separate person listening to the music of life. You are the music itself, becoming aware of its own beauty. The cosmic instrument is not something you possess. It is what you are. Every sight, sound, sensation, and thought is a note being played by the totality of existence expressing itself as this moment. Your life is not a problem to be solved by an anxious conductor. It is a masterpiece of cosmic improvisation, and your only role is to be the instrument, played perfectly by life itself. This recognition requires nothing special. No years of practice, no perfect conditions, no extraordinary states. It is as available while washing dishes as in the depths of meditation, as present in traffic jams as in mountain peaks. The final understanding is beautifully simple. There is nothing to understand and everything to be. To live from this recognition is to release the struggle of the false conductor. It is to allow the symphony to flow through you without resistance. It is to meet each moment with the fresh curiosity of hearing a song that has never been played before. It begins right now, simply by allowing this moment to be exactly as it is. Feel the life moving in your body. Listen to the sounds around you as pure vibration before your mind names them. Rest as the silent, aware space in which your breath, your senses, and even your thoughts appear and dissolve. This is not something you need to achieve or become. It is the simple recognition of what you have always been and can never not be. You are the symphony of existence, becoming aware of itself. You are the instrument through which life plays the music of this moment. You are both the question and the answer to who masters your mind. So, ask yourself now, in the silence that follows these words, who is aware of the asking? The one who knows is the one you seek.